What's life away from the family like when you're on the road?
Life on the road is cool. I mean, I think we've grown up, and now we have sort of a regimen that we follow, and it's all up to you really. If you want to have a good time on the road, then just be responsible, get good night's sleeps. I think that's very important if you're playing shows every day, especially for me. I use my voice as my instrument, so a good night's sleep and a lot of water, and just try to do things every day that just kind of, I don't know, just sweating every day is great, and I like it. I enjoy being on the road. I mean, obviously miss the family, but it makes it more special when you get to see them. So.
When you're touring, you're getting ready to go on stage. Some bands have some sort of ritual or some superstitious thing that they do. Do the Deftones have something you do?
We don't really have a superstition that we do before the show, but what we do have is a 30-minute sort of thing where we make a mix of pretty much a half hour worth of music that we're together, and we have that same 30 minutes of music playing out in the crowd while they're setting up our gear as we do backstage. And the whole thing is pretty much just to build up right into the intro of our set and into what we do. And that kind of is fun because half hour before the show you can totally get mentally prepared, and you get to listen to some music and dance and have a couple drinks together and just prepare to go on and get in the mood.
Who was your musical inspiration?
I have a lot of musical inspirations. It's hard to choose one. I mean, from an early age, obviously I was into what was popular music back then, whether it be Michael Jackson or things of just growing up as a kid listening to. And as I got older, I mean, I got into more, I guess, British rock and a lot of British pop music as well, and new wave music, and discovered like early electronic music, be it Kraftwerk or things like that, and from that got into listening to hip hop music, and I mean, so this is all before the age of 12, I guess you could say. So and then from then on, I was just discovering new things all the time. I still do every day.
When you were talking about your British rock and some of those younger influences, were there some bands that stood out for you?
Yes, definitely. I mean, Depeche Mode is probably one of my favorite bands. British bands, and all-around bands. Duran Duran was obviously another band that I was into at a young age, and just bands that are groups that made music that seemed to be, especially Depeche Mode, making music that to me seemed very futuristic at the time, and still is. I mean, I think a lot of the sounds they used were generated themselves by going around recording samples and doing things. They were one of the first bands to do that.
Hip hop, you mentioned.
Yes.
Inspirational hip hop artists?
I mean, I like a lot of early rap music. I think, I mean, shoot, African Bambaataa and that kind of stuff obviously I was really into, because I used to break dance and stuff when I was a kid, and that music just went hand in hand with it. And just a lot of the music, the drum machines and things that they were using back then were the same drum machines they were using in early new wave music. So once I heard new wave music, I got the same sense of hip hop in a lot of ways musically, but then there was all this melody brought into it. So that changed my whole perspective on music at the time.
Inspiration for the new album, what was it?
The new record, we didn't go in. I mean, obviously we were going through a lot of stuff when we made the record, but we didn't intentionally go in and say we're going to write a record about this or that, or we never really do. And I think that's good, because then we let everything kind of just happen and happen for a reason. But one thing that was very present in this record was, I think, just our friendship with each other, and being what we had been going through during the time prior to recording it. We were all drawn really close together, and so it was a very brotherly record, and it was somewhat optimistic. I mean, I wouldn't say everything lyrically is the most optimistic lyric, but there's the whole vibe around the record. It's not a sad, dark, depressing record. I think there's a lot of hope and just excitement just for making just music together and with each other on there. So I think I would say that all of us individually and our friendships was the inspiration for it.
What would you say is the one thing that keeps drawing you back to San Antonio? You're here year after year, your shows sell out year after year. What's the thing that draws you back here?
The people, man. The people coming out and supporting us is the raddest thing. But we've always had fun here. I mean, ever since the earliest days of coming here, And, you know, until now, it's always an experience. I mean, it's a great city. We spend a lot of time here. And like I said, it's really the people. I mean, you know, their support and, you know, just, to me, it's like, you know, sometimes things connect. You know, I really feel like we connected with, you know, with the people in San Antonio.